So much to it. So many layers.
Speaking of so many layers, it's kind of cold out.
It's kind of cold.
So I got a body by mac and cheese.
Yeah, that gives you insulation.
It does.
For that kind of thing.
All right, ready to start this thing?
Yes, ready. Hello! Welcome to the Media Boat Podcast.
We are live.
We're live.
It is the third episode of the year?
Third episode of the year.
Yes.
It is Wednesday.
The third Wednesday.
January 16th, 2019. We are fully into the new year now. 3 episodes into season 4
So
of
we
our
are
wonderful program.
Yep, we are currently more functional than our government.
It's true. We're working.
We're firing on all cylinders here.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're not familiar with what we are, the Media Boat Podcast is your source for news about movies, television, video games, and music, not necessarily in that order. My name is Matt. His name is Mike.
I'm Mike. He's Matt. I'm telling everyone that we're live right now because
It's true.
It's what we do.
It's that we are very, very live. Kind of like we kind of were talking off the cast here. Weird week. It was a slow week for most things in the world. Like I said, our government is shut down, so there's not a whole lot of things going on these days. Except for if you're in the video game industry.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Or
we'll get
media
to.
industry.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
There's some.
We found stuff to talk about.
There's some things happening.
There's stuff happening.
And man,
it's award season.
For where the music news lacked, there's a lot of music releases this week. Big release week for music, but we'll get to that later as well.
But we better start off at the top of every episode here
You're doing this reverse. I need this.
with the box office.
We start with movies, and we start with box office numbers from the previous weekend. This last weekend, this was a shocker to me. I did not expect this to be your number one movie.
I don't think most people did.
But your number one movie was The Upside, the Kevin Hart, Bryan Cranston drama?
Comedy drama? Dramedy?
That debuted last week to $20 million.
So Kevin Hart doesn't host the Oscars, but gets number 1 at the box office.
So, there's there.
Consolation prize.
Does he deserve it? No.
No.
But yeah, actually, a coworker of mine last week asked me, it's like, I have the choice between 3 movies to see this weekend.
All right, what do we see?
What am I going to see? And he said the 3 were Mary Poppins, Vice, and The Upside.
Was this me?
No.
No.
This was someone I work with, and
I
I told him,
exact
well,
same.
it depends. I think that really it's between 2 of those movies, Vice and Mary Poppins. It depends on which mood you're in. Like I said, are you in for a family movie with music, or are you in for a comedy?
Did he go with the third option?
He went with The Upside and told me about it on Monday and said that he liked it, was surprised how good it was considering it was a Kevin Hart movie because even he does not like Kevin Hart.
Woo!
So yeah.
I'm not alone.
I was shocked. So people like this movie. Enough to see it to the tune of $20 million debut.
Apparently, which is, it's a pretty good chunk of money there.
Right now, and for the budget of that movie, which is probably pretty cheap.
Yeah, plus now it can advertise number 1 movie in America.
Yeah, that's true. Number 2, Aquaman, with another $17 million. That's at $287 million domestic.
Yes, and internationally it crossed the $1 billion mark.
As we predicted it would, or as
Yep.
you most specifically predicted it would.
Yeah.
A Dog's Way Home
Aw.
debuted at number 3 with $11 million.
The puppies.
Puppy movie. You know what this is. I don't need to explain it.
It's a dog way finding its way home.
Spider-Man
But not
Into
Homeward
the
Bound.
Spider-Verse enjoyed another week in the top 5. Number 4, another $9 million, adding to its $147 million. Respectable. I think that thing is officially making a profit now.
I think it's turning a profit from the overseas market.
Of course, Spider-Man is in the news for other reasons, but we'll get to
I'll look
later.
for that later.
And number 5, Escape Room, with $8 million, adding to its $32 million total. If you're wondering, by the way, where the other debut from last week is.
That Keanu Reeves Replicas movie?
Replicas. It debuted at way down at number 13 with a measly $2.3 million.
I don't wish ill on any movie in particular, but dang.
Well, considering that I had seen literally nothing about this, and the only mention I've heard was from you explaining to me on this very podcast last week, I'm not surprised nobody saw it.
So I'm the source of people finding out what movies are being released?
Maybe. Or just nobody knew.
Or just nobody knew about this thing.
They're doing a bad job with it. One of the two.
Yeah.
But you can thank yourself if you want. This
My own pat on the back there.
Yeah. This weekend, one movie. One measly movie.
One movie? Wait.
But
if it's one movie, it's got to be a big movie then.
Big may be stretching it a bit, but it is a sequel to a movie from, well, let's do the math here. 13, 14, 15 years ago, give or take.
How long ago was Split?
Oh, sorry, I forgot about Split. This is technically not a sequel to Split. It's technically a sequel to the movie that preceded it in the timeline.
Technically, it's a sequel to both.
Yes, you're correct. M. Night Shyamalan is back with a third in his, I guess, now a trilogy. Starting with Unbreakable.
Yep.
Then with Split from a couple years ago, and now Glass. So yeah, it involves some of the characters from those movies, specifically Unbreakable.
Yeah.
It's a follow-up, I guess, to that
It's a follow-up to Split, and it's weird to think about that James McAvoy watched Unbreakable as a kid, and then went on to become an actor, and is now starring in the sequel to that film.
That is weird when you say it that way.
I'm sorry to break it down, life, but yeah, Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson reprised their roles alongside James McAvoy, and who's the female doctor in that?
I don't remember.
Marsh. Sarah Marsh, I think.
You're telling me.
She was in the OJ lawyer.
Sure.
Girl. Sarah Paulson. Sarah Marsh? I think.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sarah Paulson was in the OJ stuff.
Yes.
Are you talking about Sarah Paulson?
Maybe, yeah. Sarah Paulson.
Anyways, Sarah Marsh.
Well, because I think Sarah Marsh might have been the character's name.
Maybe.
The lawyer's name, but not Sarah Paulson.
Who the hell knows? And that's the only movie coming out this weekend, so I guess if you're going to see something brand spanking new, you'll be seeing Glass.
I guess we'll be seeing that.
All right, let's move on. Our next part is, of course, to talk about movie news.
All right, and first up,
we have some an interesting story because, in the time-honored Hollywood tradition of two things coming out around the same time, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, you had Armageddon, Deep Impact. You had Ants and A Bug's Life.
You had White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen.
Right. Well, the most recent example of this is between two streaming networks, and both involve documentaries about the Fyre Festival.
And no, that's not us, even though we have been streaming and talking about the Fyre Festival since we heard about it.
So yeah, if you remember the Fyre Festival, it was that music and arts festival that was supposed to happen, didn't happen, or did happen, I guess, for a day.
It happened, and then everything went to shit because of it,
right.
Of the poor planning.
And then the aftermath of it involved the Ja Rule,
Ja Rule and Bobby McFarland.
Yeah,
we covered this thing for a year.
We covered this thing. Look it up if you don't know what the details were. But there are not one, but two documentaries coming out about this. One on Hulu, which debuted yesterday, I believe.
Yep, and one on Netflix debuting on Friday.
So, the one on Netflix premieres the 18th. The directors have directed Jim and Andy, which was the Jim Carrey documentary about his connection to Andy Kaufman.
Yes.
And about him on the set of Man on the Moon.
Yes.
This is, their next movie.
I believe that was award-nominated, Jim and Andy.
Yes, it was. But important to note here, and I didn't know this until somebody on Twitter pointed this out. I guess there is some differences about the two documentaries on the streaming services available, besides just the directors and approach.
Well, I would sure hope so.
The one on Netflix, notably, is financed by a person who apparently was himself involved in financing the actual Fyre Festival.
Ah.
So some people are saying maybe don't watch the Netflix one because it might not be the real story.
He's trying to double dip and trying to do a PR move here.
However, people who have watched the Hulu one already say it's very good.
Okay.
So my suggestion here is to check out the Hulu one and probably don't check out the Netflix one, just in case.
Unless you only have access to Netflix.
Then I guess.
Then I guess you're kind of stuck there, but...
Either way, it was a stupid thing, and it's cool that we have these documents to record for posterity how stupid it was.
This well-documented shit show going on.
Seriously is. Our next story, moving on, is about Christopher McQuarrie. Of course, he was the director of the most recent Mission Impossible movie, Fallout.
Yes, I skipped this. That's why there's no picture for those of you watching the stream. I forgot this was an actual story.
Yes, this is a story. Paramount was pretty happy with the success of Fallout. Made $790 million worldwide.
I was pretty happy with Fallout, given that the production troubles behind it.
Yeah, people loved it.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Well enjoyed it more than what was the one before that? Rogue Nation.
Yeah. Well, guess what? They were so happy with him. They brought him back for 2 more. They're having him write and direct the next
He was
2
so
sequels.
nice. They want him back twice.
It's true. This is a notable change in the Mission Impossible legacy, I guess you could say. Because,
well, yeah, it's also one that I personally don't like.
Well, but also, like, yeah, it's just, in the past, Tom Cruise usually is the person picking the directors of these films.
Right.
Because he's kind of seen at Paramount as the person who is in charge of these movies. This franchise is his.
Right, and it was him who decided that I wanted to work with specific directors who bring different visions. And I thought that was cool. New entry, different director.
But at the same time, though, Tom Cruise is probably pretty happy with how these last 2 movies have ended up. So it's not too surprising.
I think his paycheck is pretty happy, too.
Exactly. So it's not too surprising that he's probably given the go-ahead for this as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, both films will be shot back-to-back, with the first film showing in 2021, and then the next one the following summer in 2022. Tom Cruise has also signed on with a film following his role as Maverick in the Top Gun sequel.
Yes, so, Top Gun: Maverick. Currently shooting.
Yes.
Due out in 2021, I think, or 2020. Yeah.
I saw some people on the internet concerned, though, as Tom Cruise gets older, and considering how old he will be when these shoots happen.
He's 50-ish already.
The question is he still going to do all the stunts, or
how much stunts can he do?
Like, how scary it is if, like, something really terrible happens to Tom Cruise.
Or Tom Cruise, start showing your age, please.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but weird. But yeah, more Mission Impossible by a hit director, so that's exciting. Yeah,
it's definitely a good payday. McQuarrie will write and direct, as he did with Mission Impossible Fallout. It'd be interesting to see where they go from here, considering that the last one was to literally prevent a nuclear war.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much further you go after that.
If anyone can do it, it's the Mission Impossible series. Yep. They've been very creative, and that's why people go to see them.
This is true. You know what else is also very creative?
Marvel.
Our bits section.
The bits. Okay, so now
it's actually not that very creative, but I just wanted to segue.
Okay.
It's time for the bits. We have all sorts of little stories that we wanted to sweep into a nice compact shape for us to pick up.
Yep, everything that's not too big to be its own story, but still very important to give it a shout out.
So here are the hits. First up, the hits, I mean bits.
The bits.
But they're also hits. Because the first one is definitely going to be a hit. Spider-Man Far From Home got its teaser trailer this week.
Yep, the first trailer, and people are already speculating how this is affecting Avengers Endgame. It also got the first images, of Quentin Beck, a.k.a. Jake Gyllenhaal, playing Mysterio.
Right.
Which is great, because he still has the fishbowl head. It's awesome.
I saw some stuff about a Hydro Man.
Yes. Apparently, they'll be facing the Elementals, or supposedly facing the Elementals.
Okay.
As Quentin Beck is an illusionist and could be creating these disasters to make him look like a hero.
I just love the name Hydro Man.
Yes.
Some people on the internet were talking about Hydro Man.
There's Hydro Man, there's Pyro Man, there's Sandman, and there's Electro Man.
Sandman they did in Spider-Man 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he's been in a Spider-Man movie.
But as I said, there's 4 of them, and they're elementals, and yeah.
Right.
It's exciting.
Next up in the bits, Bad Boys 3 has begun filming.
Yes, officially.
Will Smith in that?
Will Smith officially signed on. He's officially doing Bad Boys 3.
Is Michael Bay directing? That is the question, right?
I believe he is actually.
I mean, you can't really do it without him, right?
Right, and then I think Martin Lawrence is also there because what else is he doing?
What else? Then Jordan Peele's Us, his next film, his follow-up to Get Out, will open the South by Southwest Film Festival this year.
Yes. My doctor recently saw a trailer for that and was super confused.
Yeah, we all are.
We all are.
Believe me. We'll have to wait for more information about what exactly Us is.
What is Us?
What is Us?
What are Us?
This is Us.
No, This Is Us is a TV series.
That's it for the bits. You saw a movie.
Yes, some thoughts here.
You have some thoughts about a movie that is one of the ones that are on a lot of people's radar for award season.
Yes, it is.
You saw Adam McKay's Vice.
I saw Will Ferrell's Vice.
Well, that too. He's in it.
No, Will Ferrell is not in it.
He's not in it?
No, he is a producer via his
he's a
Gary
producer. We're not talking about producers.
Via Gary Sanchez.
Who cares about producers?
Apparently, my daughter, she was like, "Oh, Will Ferrell produced this." It's like, yeah, in name only.
Yeah, but
because Adam McKay.
Right, because Adam McKay is the person who matters here.
Right.
He directed and wrote this?
Yes.
Okay. So, of course, this is the movie that is a fictional take, or a fictionalized take, I guess you could say, on the life and times of our former Vice President, Dick Cheney.
Yes. Vice follows the story of one Dick Cheney, played by Christian Bale, as he goes from
Christian Bale in a fat suit, basically.
Yeah. But it's like a really well done fat suit. Several times I keep forgetting I'm watching Christian Bale.
Yeah.
It's the Gary Oldman thing from last year where it's like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be Gary Oldman.
Does this get a makeup nod? Is that what you're saying?
So, yeah. Right. As I was walking out, I was like, okay, this thing's going to get a story nod, it's going to get a directing nod, best picture nod, best actor nod, best makeup, wardrobe maybe, and maybe one for Amy Adams for supporting actress.
Okay.
So, yeah, based on just that, this is a pretty good movie.
Okay.
It's told really well. The first half of it goes by rather fast because it throws a lot of facts at you. Basically, the preempt of Dick Cheney from him becoming an intern for a congressman, and then moving up, fast forwarding about 30 years through the 70s, 80s, and 90s to when he decided
to today.
No, just through the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Sorry, I can't hear that and not think of like a soft rock radio station.
It's I know,
80s, 90s, and today. Anyways. Now you gotta stop thinking about that.
or as My Heart Radio says, and Y2K.
And Y2K.
Yes.
Stupid.
It is. But anyways, yeah, it kind of fast forwards through Dick Cheney through those first 30 years, because he's basically the silent man, the advisor, the moving around puppeteer before he gets out of politics, and then gets brought back into politics via George Bush.
Right.
And that's when the film really kicks it into, I want to say high gear, because that seems like you're going super fast.
Yeah.
But that's when all the stuff you have in at least a general sense about.
Because it's the part that everybody expects to see in this movie.
Right.
The part of his life that most people are familiar with.
Yeah, because when you hear Dick Cheney, you think Vice President Dick Cheney.
Right.
Not Secretary of Defense, Speaker, the House.
Whatever else.
Yeah, Secretary, the Senate Secretary or whatever. All the pre-stuff before it. But all that is important because as he came up, it basically chronologicalized, he met this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy. I was like, wow, those were all names I recognized that I didn't realize he knew way back then that actually made an impact into now. And
he chose to work with again later in his career.
Yes. So it was really interesting in that aspect, and then really interesting from the vice presidency on, as it definitely made George Bush look more of a dumbass than he probably actually is.
Yeah.
But that was played by Sam Rockwell, who did a really good job, but also a really pared down single version of what George W. Bush is like.
Yeah.
But that's also played up for effect because you need to basically contradict that style against the powerhouse that is Christian Bale, Dick Cheney.
Right, yeah, the movie's not supposed to be about W.
Right.
They did that already. So, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but it's played really well on both sides of the coin, and it's definitely got like a super in-your-face message at the end. Yeah. Not so much in your face as Black Klansman, because that was basically yelling at me until it basically said it.
Uh-huh.
But at the very end of the film, Christian Bale like cuts, looks at the camera, and just basically does a monologue of, like, as Dick Cheney, basically saying, I did this, I held the gun, I pulled the trigger, would you want anyone else to actually do this?
Uh-huh.
And it's really, like, in your face about it. It's like, well, it makes you think, because at the time, we were in a crisis of the Afghan war, of post 9/11, and it's really, like, that very ending really sold the rest of the movie for me. It's a really good film. Definitely go check it out.
Okay, so on the Patent Media Vote scale, I'd say go see it.
Oh, yeah. Go see Vice. This will definitely be up for a lot of awards.
Yep.
It will definitely win something. I believe the acting award now comes down to Christian Bale and Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Which, if I had to award between the two,
Ooh.
That'd be tough, because Christian Bale did phenomenal in this thing. Like, I forgot I was watching Christian Bale.
Right.
While at the same time, I don't think Rami Malek has that much of a known presence to where he can basically camouflage or chameleon himself into a role, because he's not a known actor figure.
Right.
So it's weighing the two of established actor playing important role or newcomer actor playing an important person.
Yeah, it's a tough thing because they're from very different kind of perspectives and very different kind of schools of thought when you come to what's a good performance. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens come the Academy Award nominations.
Yep.
Which will hit next week.
Yes, next Thursday, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that was on Thursday.
Wednesday?
I believe that was on Thursday.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, that's next week. We'll get the Academy Award nominations. Any other thoughts?
I didn't see any new movies. I caught the last 2/3 of Downsizing.
Oh, the
the Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, not Mark Wahlberg. Matt Damon. I'm going to shrink myself because the economy's bad.
Well, you were right. I don't know what the hell that movie was going for, but it did not nail it.
Oh, yeah, no. The first half of that movie, sells you on one thing and you expect to see more of it. But then it, time skips and you're, also doing something else. I'm like,
yeah, it's
what?
just through the whole, second half of Act 2, I was like, this didn't have to have the whole, becoming small gimmick.
No, it didn't.
This is just whatever the hell movie Alexander Payne wanted to make.
Yep.
It's not, it hasn't, and they sold it with the gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, this is, I liked The Descendants a lot. And this is not The Descendants.
No.
But anyways, so yeah, don't see Downsizing. Not worth it. But that's it for movies. So that means it's time to move into television. And we always start television with sports.
All right. It's television time.
And, of course, the top sports story this week is the NFL playoffs. And we have our conference championships. We
have the Final Four entering, which, ironically, are also the top two teams from each conference.
Yeah. It worked out this season, as it's supposed to.
Yep. The Patriots will be on the road to the number 1 seeded Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
Playing in the possible snow in Kansas City.
Yikes.
Whereas the LA Rams will be on the road to the number 1 seeded New Orleans Saints in the Superdome.
This is a toughie. I'm happy, actually, with most of this because great to see either the Rams or the Saints in the Super Bowl. What a good comeback. It's been a while since we've seen either of those teams.
Well, it's going to be a great matchup no matter who makes the Super Bowl. Because either you have Brady Breeze, which is the old guys.
Right.
Or you have Brady Goff, which is old Belichick versus new McVay.
So you're writing off the Chiefs already?
No. On the other side, you could do Kansas City and LA, which is the two hot teams with two young quarterbacks, or Breeze and Kansas City.
Right.
Which also would be the same old guy versus the new guy.
I just really, 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 really hope that the Chiefs have a chance here, because another Patriots Super Bowl would be so boring.
So outside of the only Kansas City loss at home, they have outscored their opponents 27 points in the last 17 games at home.
Okay, good news.
That's
but
boding
these
well.
are the New England Patriots, and this is Tom Brady.
And this is Bill Belichick.
So who the hell knows? And it's playoff Tom Brady.
Playoffs.
Playoff Tom Brady. So everybody knows that means...
Oh, he's coming for business.
This is his time to shine. This is when Brady mode activates. Is when he knows that there's a ring on the line.
Yep.
So I think the best case scenario, if the Patriots do win, is if the Rams also win, because I would love to see the Rams just run them up and down the field and have them lose again in the Super Bowl.
This is also the 8th straight year that the Patriots have been in the national champion, or the NFC conference game.
Yeah. So boring. So boring! Anyways, so we'll see what happens with that next weekend. In the meantime, other sports are happening.
Yes.
Heisman Trophy winner.
Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray.
Well, this is the same sport, but he's entering the NFL.
Yes, he's declared he will forego his senior years and be eligible for the draft upcoming in April. Number 1 pick is the Arizona Cardinals, who, if we remember last year, drafted Josh Rosen.
Oh, right.
But they have a new head coach who went out and said, I would pick Kyler Murray to be our quarterback.
Okay, well, that sounds like they're going to get another quarterback. Fun.
That's just bad news for Josh Rosen.
Yeah, I guess so. And, we'll figure out what he does.
Yep. But yes, the draft is in April. More students will be... they're students. More students will be announcing their declaration.
Yes.
Their declaration for the NFL draft as we get closer, which means we get combines in March, and it's going to be great.
Any other sports that are happening, or is it just all football all the time right now as we approach
football
the end of
is the
January?
one that is coming to the end here, so that's why we're mainly talking about it. There is... they're also doing new coaching hires for football. Hockey is currently going on. The All-Star ballot is currently open. So if you want your players in hockey to go to the All-Star game, go online and vote. They are fan votes. I believe that's pretty much all that's going on in terms of sports.
Okie dokie. Cool. All right, then let's move on to television news.
All right, and first up,
we have a little bit of a follow-up story. We mentioned a bit ago that Megyn Kelly was losing her show on NBC.
Yes, after her rather racist remarks around Halloween, she basically went off the air in November.
Well, now it's official. Megyn Kelly is no longer involved with NBC to the tune of $30 million, which was how they basically wrapped up her contract.
Right. I believe her contract was at $68 million?
Yes.
Yeah. So she basically got paid that in full for 2.5 years of work.
True.
Out of a 5-year contract.
Yeah, it's crazy. In other words, how much money she's going to get basically for being fired.
And yet she won't be done, because I'm sure someone else will pick her up for an even bigger contract.
Yeah. The quote from the network is, "The parties have resolved their differences. Megyn Kelly is no longer an employee of NBC. She was halfway through her 3-year, $69 million contract."
Nice.
Not so nice.
No.
Thank you. And will receive the remaining sum. Kelly will be subjected to a non-disparagement clause, though, limiting what she can say about NBC. So this is the interesting part about this.
This is interesting here.
So she can't like, if she does get picked up by a network, she can't go on a rant about how NBC fired her.
Right.
She's
Otherwise,
literally obligated to not say anything, or lest, who knows, maybe that money goes away.
either NBC can sue her for the money back.
Right.
Which if she does get on TV, I bet that's exactly what will happen.
That would be pretty funny if that happened.
I want to put money that's exactly what will happen. That she will at some point slip up, bash NBC either in a tweet or a rant or something, and have to give that money back because she broke her non-disparagement clause.
But we'll see if that happens. Hopefully, hopefully she won't find any work. But we'll see. Moving on, our next story is a little bit of an update about the Oscar hosting question.
So, the Oscars are still hostless for now.
Yeah, but it is ABC, though, and ABC is making a ABC-like move. There's a rumor that, well, first of all, it looks like there's going to be pretty much no matter what a rotating cast of hosts, a.k.a. people coming in and out to do some sort of hosting duties for the show. But because it's ABC, which of course is part of the enormous Disney collective,
The House of Mouse.
You could call it that, yes. They may even bring on the stars of the Avengers movies to help them host the show.
Interesting.
But yeah, following the success of the 2012's first Avengers movie, the 2013 telecast had all the Avengers on stage together.
Right, and there was a big deal about that because it's the Avengers. It made $1 billion.
So this would make some sense considering the Oscars are on February 24th and Avengers Endgame is just a couple months later in April. So,
I mean, it's definitely a synergistic move of Disney to do this. They can promote not just Marvel through it, but other Marvel-related platforms, streaming service.
This would make some sense. So, yeah.
Disney just plugging away. Plus, if they're going to pull from the 30-plus actors, I mean, wouldn't you want to tune in to watch the Avengers come out?
To see who shows up.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. I mean, I'm going to watch the Oscars no matter what.
Well, yes, that's regardless.
That is not why I'm going to be tuning in for some Avengers to show up. No. But yes, I will be watching. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, that's it for television news. Did you watch any new TV this week?
I did, because TV is new this week.
Some TV is back this week. Yes, we had some returns of some of our favorite shows, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine on NBC, and The Good Place, and what else?
Say Yes to the Dress.
Say Yes to the Dress. That's
the Good Doctor.
Yeah.
This Is Us is also this week. But yeah. TV is returning this week, and with it, a new show.
All right, so you watched a new show.
I tried to watch a new show, actually.
Tried? Uh-oh. All right, what is this?
So, Fox. Fox's The Passage.
I don't even know what this is.
So you probably don't watch a lot of Fox TV then.
No.
I know what this is because I watch Gordon Ramsay's shows, which are on Fox.
Yeah.
24 Hours to Hell and Back, and Hell's Kitchen. So I get these ads of Fox shows. So I decided to turn it on because it was new. And I literally had nothing else to watch.
Right.
That being said, I turned it off halfway through because I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
This is about a secret, original, secret government facility working on a cure to all diseases.
Whoa.
Which they succeed in. But there's a side effect. The people who are basically become disease-free have the tendency to want to eat blood.
What? Eat blood?
Yes.
Okay.
They want to consume blood.
All right.
Note, they're not vampires.
Okay, they're not
vampires. They specifically say in the show they're not vampires. We do not use the term vampires around them. Huh. Even though they are disease-free, they live forever, and they want to eat blood.
Wow, all right. Well,
but they're not vampires.
How about that?
And so, there's an outbreak of a new virus in China, which they have 2 months before it reaches U.S. soil, supposedly. So, in order to fast-track trials, they have to basically kidnap a little girl and get her to go through the trials in order to basically see if the tests they've done are basically worthwhile to save humanity.
Huh. Okay.
Because the cure they have works best with younger patients. So they may not be able to save all the adults, but they definitely save the kids.
Huh?
Exactly. That's why I turned it off.
Show?
This is based off a book series, apparently.
Really? Okay.
And that's why I turned it off.
I see why they stuck this in January, though, because, like, nobody cares.
I did not care.
Yeah, like, this is so stupid.
Like, the first, like, pre-commercial break was interesting. It gave a lot of facts out. Like, okay, yeah, I can get on board with this. And then they said, this little girl's going to be the cure. It's like, nope. I've seen the show already.
Yeah.
I've seen this on NBC. I've seen this on ABC. This has been a rehash of an idea. No, thank you. Yeah. You can throw vampires in it, but nope, they're not vampires. Therefore, I don't care.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so
that sounds
that's
dumb.
The Passage. It's pretty dumb. I didn't care for it. I will not be watching another episode. Good luck, The Passage.
Good luck to The Passage. See ya.
It's a weird title too. It's a weird title too. The Passage.
The Passage. That doesn't at all tell me what that is.
Well, because I didn't understand. Because I thought it was just about like a disease. Because that's what like pathogen, a passage. Yeah. Like, okay, it's a disease show. Like, you're trying to cure a disease. Okay, I get it. Cool. And then the first episode, you basically say, we have the cure. We just need to convince people of the cure. It's like,
yeah.
That's not what I was sold on.
What if the cure was the band The Cure?
Like, they just have to constantly be playing music?
They just have to show up.
It's like a benefit?
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Did you watch anything else? Any other new television this week?
New television?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I did not.
Nothing.
I still haven't even watched the Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
What?
I watched The Good Place, but I haven't watched the Brooklyn Nine-Nine yet.
It's pretty good.
I heard it's good. All right.
They definitely use the bleeps and blurs.
Oh, I heard. So that's it then for television, which means we move into cancellations and renewals.
All right. What is gone?
What is gone is I Love You America on Hulu.
And that's the Sarah Silverman
newsy-ish satire show.
Yep.
Canceled after 2 seasons there. But the rest are renewals. Star Wars Resistance on the Disney Channel.
Right. That's the sequel to Star Wars Clone Wars, which is a sequel to Star Wars Rebels. Sorry, other way around.
Reverse, yes.
Yes, reverse. Scratch that, reverse it.
It will get a 2nd season.
Okay.
So, first season worked. Criminal Minds on CBS will get a 15th season.
15 seasons.
Keep going.
Why does it keep going?
Because there's lots of criminals, and guess what? They all have minds.
You realize that's like over half our lives.
That's true.
Why?
It's crazy. So you think you can dance?
Similarly,
like get a 16th season on Fox.
Yeah, that's an easy show for them to renew.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of production. I mean, there's a lot of production that goes into it, but it's basically based on the talent and live studio audience.
Never ends.
People love. It's a good summer show.
Yeah, people.
When nothing's on.
That is it for the cancellations and renewals, which means we move into deaths.
All right, who got canceled?
This seems to be this week made up for all the non-death weeks we've had this year so far.
Yeah.
We're 4 episodes in, and this is the first time we're doing a death segment.
All right, this one got hit pretty hard.
But yeah, it was a rough week because we lost Carol Channing, age 97, who, of course, a famous actress from musicals, such as Hello, Dolly and Thoroughly Modern Millie. Won a Tony back in 1964. Mm-hmm. But yes, one of the most beloved Broadway actors of our time.
Yep.
So yeah, Carol Channing definitely will be missed. Verna Bloom, age 84, also left us. Actress from movies such as Animal House and The Last Temptation of Christ. Singer Dee Schaefer, also age 84, was a country songwriter. Most notably wrote All My Exes Live in Texas for George Strait.
Hey, I like that song.
There you go. J.D. Gibbs, young, age 49. He was a race car driver and the co-owner of Joe Gibbs Racing.
If that's all you'd ask our fans out there.
Yeah. And then lastly, Joe Andres, age 64. He was a filmmaker. Sorry, my bad. She was a filmmaker, made the film Black Kites, a choreographer as well, choreographed, The Imposters, and the wife of Steve Buscemi. I did not realize. So, poor Steve Buscemi. So yeah, some rough ones this week. Yeah, but that means it's time to move on to music.
We start music with the Billboard.
Billboard charts. We start with your Hot 100, which is your top singles.
All right, and right now everyone is listening to "Sunflower" by Post Malone and Sway Lee.
#1 song after being in the top 5 or 2 weeks now.
Yep, that's that Spider-Man soundtrack.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's good. #2 is "Without Me" by Halsey.
Dropping after being #1 last week.
#3 is "Thank You, Next" by Ariana Grande. Dropping
still
one
there.
spot. #4 is "Sicko Mode" by Travis Scott.
Still there.
Still at 4. And still at #5, "High High Hopes" by Panic at the Disco.
Yep.
That's basically just a shuffle of your top 5.
They just shuffled. Yeah. That's all.
Your top 3 shuffled around. For your Billboard 200, your albums lift.
What's the #1 album in the country? You called this, by the way, last week.
I did.
Yeah.
I don't remember calling this, but
you did.
I remember saying it was hanging around, so it was only a matter of time.
Yep.
Hoodie Season. By A Boogie with the Hoodie is your #1 album.
That was your #1 album, and you know what that means. I had to listen to it.
I had to listen to this thing.
I'll get to that later.
#2 dropping is "I Am Greater Than I Was" by 21 Savage.
Last week's #1.
#3 is "Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse" by various artists.
The soundtrack.
#4 is "Championships" by Meek Mill.
Yep.
And #5, your favorite, "Beer Bongs and Bentleys" by Post Malone.
So yeah, another example of just another shuffle.
Yep. Alright.
There you go.
So, what are you going to be listening to?
I don't know what I'm going to be listening to. You should tell the people what is new this week.
Well, I keep messing this bit up.
Yeah, you're really bad at this. Tell me what the new records out this week are.
Well, I know what we're listening to, but here are the new records.
There we go.
We have Deer Hunter with "Why Hasn't Everything Already Disappeared?"
I will be checking this out.
You like some Deer Hunter?
In the past, I have enjoyed Deer Hunter. I saw them live once.
All right.
So yeah, I'll be checking out this new record.
We have Future with "The Wizard." This is Future Rapper Future?
Yes, Future the Rapper.
Future the Rapper.
This will probably be #1 next week. I'll probably have to listen to this.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
it takes them 2 weeks to get on there. Yep. We have James Blake with "Assume Form."
Okay. How's this form?
We have Joe Jackson, not that Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson. He's dead.
Joe Jackson.
Another Joe Jackson.
With Fool. My bad. Fool. We have Juliana Hatfield with "Weird." We have Maggie Rogers with "Heard It in a Past Life." The return of Mike Posner.
Oh, right. That guy.
With "A Real Good Kid." Speaking of, I heard that guy. Papa Roach. With "Who Do You Trust?"
Not Papa Roach. And not Kid Rock.
We also have Pedro the Lion with "Phoenix."
Notable because it's their first record release in like 15 years or something.
Okay. We also have Sharon Von Etten with "Remind Me Tomorrow."
I will be checking this out as well.
We also have Switchfoot. Yes, that's Switchfoot.
They're still around somehow.
With "Native Tongue." We also have The Twilight Sad with "It Won't Be Like This All the Time," which is what I tell myself every day in the mirror. And lastly, Toro E. Moy with Moy with "Outer Peace."
Sure. Yes. So yeah, there's a lot that ran the gamut.
That's quite a list there. That's a little bit of everything.
And that wasn't everything on the list, by the way. That was only the names I recognized.
I believe so too.
Yes, isn't that crazy? Like, that's a lot of different choices, and that's not even the whole list.
So, if you're wondering, where have all my new releases been?
Here they are.
Here you are.
Welcome to 2019.
2019 officially begins with music here.
Yeah, it really
There is
does.
something for everyone to enjoy this week that is new, that is fresh. Check it out.
Check it out. Also, check out these news stories.
Yeah, speaking of checking stuff out.
So we talked about the Super Bowl already, but what else is happening at the Super Bowl?
Apparently there's going to be an uninterrupted concert.
Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes they'll just play music in the middle of it. It's weird.
I know. During the National Championship game, Imagine Dragons came out. And then Lil Wayne started in a big-ass coat. I guess is the only way I can describe it.
I have a question.
Answer?
Can Lil Wayne imagine those dragons?
I believe he had to because he seemed kind of drunk when he was doing it. He was performing.
I, personally, as we know,
you cannot
imagine those dragons.
You just cannot imagine the dragons.
I can't do it. Anyways.
What's
our news stories this week?
Our news
story about the Super Bowl.
So, as we called here at the Meet About podcast,
yes.
The Super Bowl has officially confirmed that Maroon 5,
right?
Yes, Adam Levine,
yes,
and his other 4 bandmates,
whoever the hell
technically
they are.
5 bandmates. No, 4.
Don't know.
I believe there are 6 members in Maroon 5.
Has ever meant anything.
I don't think so. I believe there's always been 6 members in Maroon 5. Which is why just calling them is weird.
It should be Adam Levine and the Maroon 5.
Yes. But yes, this past Sunday, Maroon 5 was officially confirmed to be the Super Bowl halftime show.
But they won't be alone.
No, because joining them in Atlanta on February 3rd are some Atlanta artists, including former Outkast member Big Boi and rapper Travis Scott.
One thing I want to note here, in case you're wondering, some people did their due diligence and they asked in an interview Travis Scott about how he felt about doing this, considering the state of the league and the protests that have been happening.
Right, as we had reported on, Rihanna was asked but had declined.
Well, apparently Travis Scott did some extra legwork and actually spoke to Colin Kaepernick himself and got Colin Kaepernick's okay to perform at the performance. So I guess that there's even if it's still kind of weird to have somebody who is an Atlanta native like that be on the big stage to of course share it with Maroon 5, but still to have Colin Kaepernick's okay, that's a smart move and I'm glad he did it. So it'll be a little less weird.
Right, but with these acts, I have a feeling that this show will be more like the Madonna show of past years, where they'll come out, they'll sing their songs, and then move over to featured acts and completely forget about them.
You know what? I'm okay with that because I don't need to hear 30 straight minutes of Maroon 5.
Well, they do have well-known songs.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to hear them. This is what I'm trying to tell you. I don't want to hear Maroon 5. I'm going to have to hear Maroon 5, but I want to hear as little Maroon 5 as possible.
Well, I'm sorry. Maybe they should have stuck with some more well-known Atlanta acts.
But Big Boi also from Atlanta, and but notably absent will be his partner in Outkast, Andre 3000.
Yeah, apparently Andre 3000 was also in talks to perform. And
he said no.
Would make that an Outkast reunion?
Yeah, it would have, which would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But that's not happening.
Nope.
It didn't happen.
Nope. He declined or was never asked.
Something.
But the last time Outkast was actually together was when they did a tour back in 2014. So this would have been a 5 year since then, which would have been a nice round number.
Yeah, it would have been. But so long for that because it's not happening.
Would you expect Big Boi to pull out a song anyways?
Big Boi might be doing another solo record. He's done several. Him and Andre both.
I thought he was just mainly a producer.
No. He does solo records as well.
Okay.
I think he put out a record more recently than Andre has.
Well, because I know Andre 3000 went to try to do some acting routes.
Yeah, he did some acting for a while as well. But they both had solo careers.
Okay. Well, speaking of solo careers, some people have illustrious careers.
It's true.
Yes. They're so grand, in fact, they may end up in the Hall of Fame.
So this is a follow-up story. We had previously reported that, I guess, the short list of nominees for this, but now here are the inductees.
Yep, we have the inductees for the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and they include Dallas Austin, which is one person and not two cities. Missy Elliott, Yes, that Missy Elliott. Tom T. Hall, John Prine, Jack Tempchin, and Cat Stevens, a.k.a. Yusuf Islam.
Yeah, he's recorded under both names.
Okay. They will become the latest inductees into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. It's the organization's 50th annual induction, and awards dinner will take place on June 13th.
I'd say this is a really, really solid list. I mean, Missy Elliott, she's been she was a huge artist in her day and has been writing consistently since.
Yep. She will be the first black female rapper, period.
Yeah.
But also black female rapper.
So yeah, very, very exciting. And then, the rest of the lineup here is equally, if not as important to songwriting as a whole. So yeah, it's good news.
Yep. The ceremony will take place in New York Times Square at the Marriott Marquis Hotel.
Right.
Additional special awards and honorees will be announced soon.
So yeah, that's exciting. So cool. All right.
Well done.
That's it for our music news.
All right, that brings us to thoughts, and that means we get to hear your thoughts on the boogie with the hoodie.
So there's two things wrong with this record. First off,
okay, how much is boogie on it?
No. Yeah, that's true. The best moments in this record are when I was awakened from my wanton slumber, being so bored of the boogie with the hoodie, or however the hell you say it, and there was other people on it. I got very excited because when there's other people going on, I was like, "Oh, this is interesting."
Mm-hmm.
As soon as there's yet another song, and what I mean by yet another, this album clocks in at 1 hour and 4 minutes.
So is this a double album?
I mean, it's not been advertised as thus, but it
but
definitely has the same amount of
at an hour,
tracks
it's a double album.
as a double album. This is about the same length as Drake's Scorpion, for reference.
Okay.
But yeah, or maybe a little shorter than Scorpion. But but yeah, that's the only, because it just all sounds so much the same. So that's my number one problem with a boogie with the hoodie. My second problem with the boogie with the hoodie, I have only seen one picture of that man with a hoodie. Every reference photo I've seen of every website, like music website I've seen covering this dude, he's never wearing a hoodie.
Really?
And I'm like, how can you call yourself a boogie with the hoodie if you're never in a hoodie? And then finally, his picture on Spotify has him in a hoodie. And I was like, well, there you go.
On the album cover?
No, he's not. No, it's a cartoon version of him on the album cover.
Oh.
So he's not even in a hoodie in the album cover. So I was like, if you're going to call yourself a boogie with the hoodie, anyways. In the weeds here. But yes. This is exactly...
But anyways, how does he sound?
So this is exactly what you think it is. It is a very of-the-moment hip-hop record. And what I mean by that is it's a mix of singing and rapping. And a lot of auto-tune is used. The beats are very much like the trap beats that are really trendy right now. Mm-hmm. And he jumps between styles, but none of them are original. They're all styles that are existing and done better by other artists. For example, one song he'll be bragging about all his drug use and all the women that he's sleeping with. The next song, though, will be about how he has a gun and he's going to use it and he can be violent and you don't want to rile him up. And then the next song will be how he's depressed and he hates himself and how he's sad all the time and he needs drugs to help him. It's just that forever for an hour long. Just
that cycle?
Yeah, not necessarily all in a row. Maybe there'll be 2 fucking songs in a row, and then maybe later there'll be 2 killing songs in a row. But it's just fuck, kill, drugs, and it's just... who is this for? I get what he's going for, because it's like other artists have really capitalized on this. Just 2 weeks ago, I talked about that 21 Savage record.
Mm-hmm.
He raps about a lot of that stuff, too. But the difference is one, production-wise, there's a lot more interesting things happening sonically. Whereas a Boogie with the Hoodie has like a couple of different modes. He's either like singing down here or he's singing up here, and he has kind of the same flow every song. He doesn't change it up that often. And so it was boring. It was so incredibly boring. And there was no moments where I was like, oh, that lyric is kind of interesting. It was all just like, okay, all right, I guess that is a line. I don't know. This guy seems to have really confused people beyond just me, because it is interesting to note that this is now the record holder for the least album sales for a #1 record of all time. How many records do you think this man sold?
0. It's a streaming.
You're on the right track, but I guess they do technically still provide numbers even on a digital only record.
Okay.
How many? What's your number? And I'll tell you.
I'd say the lowest.
Yeah. What do you think this sold? And is the new record
80,000.
You are nowhere close. Way lower. 80,000 is a good week now, by the way. That is a good week. That's like an Adele week. That's how low sales of records are now.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. No, we're talking not even 1,000.
What?
We're talking 823.
Wow, I was way off.
Yeah, A Boogie with the hoodie season has only sold 823 sales of records. This is not including, of course, streaming numbers. This is basically digital sales. This was not released physically in any form.
Right. So like iTunes, I bought this album.
Exactly. Only 823, and it still made it #1 just on the strength of streaming. We're in a new era.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the critics are also confused about this thing. I read a couple of reviews / articles about it, and nobody can figure out why he's popular, or like why people have glommed onto him right now when he's kind of just this prism in which other styles are being shot through.
All right.
Okay.
What if?
Tell me about your theory about a Boogie.
My theory is that, so you know how they have these like clickbait farms?
Yes.
Where like you can pay
Spotify farm somewhere.
Yeah, where you could pay to have like people just sit there and just click on your songs.
Yeah.
And just have that being like your revenue. Pay for clicks.
Yeah, pay for Spotify.
If that's what is going on here, because it is, like you said, it is only streaming, so they're not physically buying anything.
Yeah.
They're just having it played and listened to. Or at least playing in the background. So like you open 10 tabs, log into 10 accounts, and they're all playing the album on continuous loop somewhere for X amount of days, because as a computer doesn't turn off, it doesn't necessarily say, oh, you're physically listening to this thing. No, it's just on a constant loop of a stream.
Well, whatever it is, my message to you, dear listener, don't listen to Hoodie Season by A Boogie with the Hoodie.
That's my weird conspiracy theory of the day.
All right. But yeah, we'll see what's the next #1 record is. I really hope this isn't #1. Or actually, no, I do hope this remains #1, so I don't have to listen to anything new that I will probably also hate.
Right, because you gotta wait for 2 weeks for new stuff to actually
who the hell knows
make an impact on the charts.
Yeah, who knows what it'll be this week. I don't even remember what came out last week, if it was something that would become #1 or not. So we will see.
We'll see.
Happens. All right, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on to video game news.
Video games blew up this week.
There's a lot of news.
Only one new release, though.
Only one new
What's that release?
That is Senran Kagura Burst Newell for PlayStation and PC.
Right.
I don't know what this is.
There's a bunch of other releases that were on the calendar for next week, but because they occur after Wednesday, we will wait till next week to cover them. But this is the only one in this week that we're currently covering from Wednesday to Wednesday.
Okay. There's also probably some Switch releases.
Who knows?
That's, console or like Play Store.
Yeah, there might be
indie
some
developers
stuff coming out,
digital stuff,
but it wasn't on the calendar.
Yeah.
What else?
We have news to talk about here.
We have a couple stories here. One, though, that was big. One that's a really big deal.
All right.
Tell them.
So, let me tell you. All right, let me ask you. Who owns Destiny? Is it Bungie or is it Activision?
So this week ago, I would have said kind of both because, as you well know, Bungie, of course, is the team that used to bring you Halo games.
Right.
That was back when they were owned by Microsoft.
Right, but when they left, they had to leave the Halo IP
with Microsoft.
So
what they then announced was that they were going to enter into a 10-year
production
deal, I guess you could say, with Activision, which led to, of course, the series Destiny.
Yep.
That led to 2 retail package, Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, and several expansions and constant updates, and millions of happy players who follow the Destiny stuff as soon as it's released.
Yep. Destiny brought us hordes, or not really hordes, but just the never-ending cycle of a video game.
Yeah, it's cool. I like Destiny in a lot of ways.
Seasons. I want to say they're the first ones to do seasons.
Yeah, they're not necessarily the first. Maybe first on console. The way they did it.
Yeah.
But definitely, they've now established a pattern that other developers are trying to chase, including EA with this next month's Anthem.
Yep.
So yeah, needless to say, Destiny's a big deal.
Yep. On last Thursday, the developer, Bungie, announced plans for Activision to transfer publishing rights back to the game's creator, as the two companies would be parting ways.
Yeah.
Yep. Quote, "We have enjoyed a successful 8-year run and would like to thank Activision for their partnership on Destiny." Bungie wrote in a post on its site Thursday, quote, "Looking ahead, we're excited to announce plans for Activision to transfer publishing rights for Destiny to Bungie. With our trademarkable Destiny community, we are ready to publish on our own, while Activision will increase their focus on owned IP projects." The planned transition process is already underway in its early stages, with Bungie and Activision both committed to making sure the handoff is as seamless as possible.
Yes.
The game will continue to receive full support on Battle.net, which is owned by Activision.
Yeah.
And Bungie does not anticipate any disruption to their service or your gameplay experience.
So yeah, this was a little bit of a lot of text, but the reason why I included both of those quotes is because those are the two biggest questions about this.
Right.
One, of course, was, will this interrupt or change how Destiny is played or treated right now? And the answer from Bungie is no. It'll go as expected. It will continue going as the fans need it to go. There will be no interruption. And then the second half is, wait, what about Battle.net? The whole deal with Destiny 2 is that it wasn't going to be on Steam. It was going to be exclusive on Battle.net, and that it was going to live there forever, essentially. And that's where you would launch it. Is that still going to be the case when they're no longer in the Activision camp? Well, Bungie says yes, it will be. So this is a big surprise, to me at least. I was sure that they would bail and go to some sort of, maybe, say, Epic Games Store. And
that would be a big grab for them.
But this allows them to kind of stick around where they already are for a little bit longer.
Yeah. This is nice for Destiny players, so nothing will change for them.
Right.
But it does mean that Destiny's future content is kind of in Bungie's hands right now.
Yeah, which also means, so this is an interesting kind of wrinkle to this that I read about today. Somebody was floating the idea of Activision was the ones basically forcing their hands with retail release box Destiny games. Mm-hmm. There would have not necessarily been a Destiny 2 at all if Activision wasn't showing them a calendar and being we need a tentpole release in September of this year.
Right.
So what are the chances that there may never be a Destiny 3? What if Destiny 2 just becomes Destiny again, and they just use that as an update platform and just treat it like World of Warcraft from here on out and just put stuff out
I'd say
all the time?
I'd say make a third one, call it Destiny Unlimited.
Okay.
And
Destiny Infinite?
Destiny Infinite. and then just have that be your constant update. That way you control everything, and there was no outside influences involved in Destiny.
Maybe. So there's a lot of options for them here. With complete freedom, though, who knows what they're going to do.
Right. But do also note that not everything that bad happened with Destiny and its releases is Activision's fault. As I've been reading on some blog posts, the team at Bungie can and still have trouble with release dates and sticking to them.
That's true. Like, this isn't going to stop. This isn't just going to magically make everything that Bungie does good again. They're not infallible.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're right. I think ultimately there are still some problems just with these, like, base of what Destiny is and the engine that they work with. That it's just not going to be perfect. But it'll be really, really interesting, though, is what their future plans, when they do reveal what their future plans for the series will be, though.
So, Bungie is no longer tied to Activision, no longer tied to any big overhanging company.
Yeah, they're their own publisher now.
Does Microsoft buy them back?
No, I don't think so. I think they're out of that
Microsoft's
business.
on a buying spree. I'm just saying.
I don't think that they're in that business anymore. I think 343 is doing a good job with Halo games. They're not as important, you could say, as they were back in the Bungie days. But ultimately, Microsoft's not really in the market for big tentpole releases anyways. That's not what he trades in, or what they trade in anymore. So it's like, I don't think that a big purchase like Bungie would make sense for them. I think that Bungie's going to do just fine on their own.
All right, do they branch off and do something else?
I mean, this gives them the freedom to. They're not trapped in the Destiny hole anymore.
I want to say...
I say they still focus on Destiny, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see them putting out like a mobile game or something small.
I want to say they take the Blizzard route where Destiny becomes their World of Warcraft.
Yes.
While they have other games cooking.
Yeah. I could see like a smaller team at Bungie giving us something a little smaller, a little more like experimental perhaps, instead of just the shooters that they've always made.
Yep. So
Oni 2.
Right.
No, Oni 2 is not going to happen.
Okay. You did say this was a 10-year contract. They ended after 8, though.
Yeah, I know. They broke it early, which means Activision must have been fairly understanding and
received a payout.
Or received a buyout. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Anyways, we have other stories to talk about.
We do.
That being of dances. But not in Fortnite, apparently.
This is a follow-up story to our story about the Fortnite dances. But other games had dances, too, and we kind of mentioned this.
Yeah. So, the Carlton and the Floss, both dances, are no longer available in Forza Horizon 4, which is a racing game, so does your car dance?
No, the drivers, you can, to a certain extent, customize your avatar that drives the car.
Okay.
And in between
races.
driving, you do see your character out and about, either talking to the organizers of the Horizon Festival, or sometimes, say, on a mountaintop doing a dance, such as the Floss.
Whatever. Well,
but not anymore.
Developers Turn 10 Studios and Playground Games quietly removed the dance emotes from the game's big Series 5 update on Tuesday.
Yeah.
About a month after both actor Alfonso Ribeiro and the Backpack Kid sued Epic Games for their moves, which we covered.
Technically the family of the Backpack Kid.
Yeah, technically the family of the Backpack
Kid. The Backpack Kid can't sue anybody. He's
a kid. Yes. Yes, as they both sued Epic Games for their dance moves,
right?
Which is going to be an ongoing legal battle.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
I included this because it's kind of interesting that you see preemptive action happening.
Oh yeah, no, they took it away. Like they don't want
come after them too.
If they actually have a winning case against Fortnite, that means
nobody can
use them.
Right. So yeah, I think it's smart for them to get ahead of it. And drop at least the two most litigious dances. From what I understand, there are other dances in the game still.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
It's just the only two that were removed because of, I guess, how much heat are on them.
Right, and it makes sense because they're the big ones that are going to court right now.
Right.
And should they win, that means other publishers, meaning them, would have to pay because they use it. And so it's like, oh, no, see, we don't have to pay. We got it off. We don't use it anymore.
Yeah, look at us. We're good.
We're good. We're in the clear here.
So,
yeah.
that's it.
So that's it. That brings us to thoughts. Do you have any thoughts?
I did not play any new video games. I still somehow am suffering through Smash Brothers. I've just kind of settled on the spirit board mode, which is basically like I'm just gonna fight these spirits not in the proper spirit map, and try to like grind levels out of my spirits to make them stronger. So that way, eventually, I can go back and actually beat the battles I couldn't win before. Also, I'm getting real good with Wii Fit Trainer.
Ooh.
That is my character right now.
That's your main?
Wii Fit Trainer.
You're maining a Wii Fit?
I'm maining Wii Fit Trainer. I want to be the only person that's really good with Wii Fit Trainer. That's my goal here. Because I think it's the stupidest character in the entire roster. It's so amazing, and I want to get really good with it. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Alright, well, it is the 16th, which means we are officially 13 days away from Kingdom Hearts 3.
We are.
For those of you who know, 13 is a prominent number in the Kingdom Hearts series. That's why I bring it up. So,
yes.
as such, the Twitter for Kingdom Hearts has been revealing one day at a time new concept art for their characters.
Wait, the universe of One Day at a Time is going to be in Kingdom Hearts?
Actually, yeah, it may be. Who
knows?
How big that game is. I've been reading up on a lot of it, of news on Kingdom Hearts, but I will divulge most of that next week as I get ready to gear up for the anticipated release of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Cool.
It is going to be a massive game.
Yeah.
Both in size, sales, scope, and hopefully critical praise.
We'll see. The jury's still out on that one. The game has to come out first.
It definitely does. But that does it for us then.
That will do it. That's it for video games. That's it for the Media Boat Podcast.
So plug away.
So we'll be back next week. Every Wednesday, we're here doing this live show for you around 5:45-ish. We need to actually pick a time.
Yeah.
I think, starting next week. But yeah, you can see us live, though, on Wednesday nights at some point. If you follow us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, search Media Boat Podcast, find our channel, like and subscribe, if I may borrow the parlance. And you'll get notifications when we go live, which is very helpful to us. You can also hear the audio version of our podcast, which is on all sorts of podcast services, such as Apple Podcasts. Search Media Boat Podcast and you'll find us. You can also find us on our website, MediaBoatPodcast.com, where you can see an archive of our written work. You can also find us on social media. We're on Twitter at MediaBoatCast. We're on Facebook. We have a page under Media Boat Podcast. And we're on Twitch.tv. We'll be streaming some Kingdom Hearts when that comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Check us out on Twitch.tv/MediaBoat. And lastly, you can find us on Patreon.com, where you can help us out. As little as $1 donation every month can help us make our content even better and bigger and more bombastic. So help us out by becoming a patron today. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys next week with another edition of the Media Boat Podcast.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.
All right, YouTube after show.
Bye.
Nothing. Anything?
Nothing. No.
Nothing? No. Okay, we're good.
Bye.
We're in the clear. Bye-bye.